everyone, welcome back to Faith and Flour. This is Robin, and in today's video, I am cleaning our kitchen appliances. For most of us, the kitchen is the hardest working room in the home, and we have some very expensive pieces of equipment in there. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you how I clean them and give you some tips and tricks to make that a little bit easier. It's so important that we clean these items regularly so that we can keep them in good working order to serve you and your family for many years. Before we get started, I thought I'd share this quick recipe that I've been whipping up for lunch on a regular basis around here. It's been a big hit with our family. We love sandwiches a few times a week, but in the wintertime, it's really nice to do an open face hot sandwich, and this one is sort of my take on a Reuben. I start by toasting the bread lightly, and while that's in the oven, I mix up a quick Thousand Island dressing. We have one person in our family that needs to eat gluten-free, so we can use regular bread and gluten-free bread all on the same sheet pan if we're careful that they stay separated. Traditionally, corned beef is the meat of choice for a Reuben, but I had pastrami on hand, and so I subbed that in and it worked out great. So I layer on just a little bit of pastrami, not too much, and then I top that with some homemade sauerkraut, and I had provolone cheese on hand, so that's what I used, and that was the combination on this day. I think ham would also work really well, and of course you can use any type of cheese on top. Anything paired with the Thousand Island dressing and the homemade sauerkraut makes for a delicious warm sandwich, even in the coldest days of winter. Bake the sandwiches in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It takes approximately 10 minutes. I just keep an eye on it, and once the cheese is golden and bubbly, I know that they are ready. Today, to keep it light, I am peeling some clementines to go along with our sandwiches, but for a heartier meal, these open-faced sandwiches would pair great with a nice hot cup of soup. Our oven works hard in our kitchen. I use our oven for all sorts of things. Here you can see how I prepare bacon on a sheet pan. This is an amazing way to fix bacon, but it can get the inside of the oven quite messy. I find that it's a little bit less messy than the stovetop, however, and I like that I can save the bacon grease very easily this way, and it only takes about 10 minutes in a 450 degree oven, and the bacon comes out perfectly cooked, nice and even. I use our oven to prepare all kinds of meats. I especially like it for preparing fish, and I'm a big fan of sheet pan dinners, all-in-one dinners on a sheet pan. And of course, I love to bake breads, cookies, cakes, all of those sorts of things, and I did a lot of that over the holidays, so by now my oven is in need of a deep clean. As you can see, the glass is covered in all sorts of splatters and the inside of the oven is as well. This time where we live, I have a self-cleaning oven, but I've discovered in the past that even with that, it's best to clean the glass before you use the self-cleaning feature on your oven. It's also important to remove the racks, especially if you want them to remain shiny. If you don't have a self-cleaning oven, I have a lot of experience with that. In our last home, we had a gas oven that did not have that feature, and so I can explain as I go along the best way to clean that as well. No matter what type of oven you have, a little prevention goes a long way, and that's what this black sheet is that I'm taking out of the oven now. It is a non-stick oven liner, and so I put it on the bottom shelf, and that will catch any drips, and it's super easy to clean. For cleaning the glass on the inside of the oven, I have found that using Barkeeper's Friend works better than anything else. I've tried the baking soda and vinegar method. That does work, but it's messier and it takes a lot more time, plus a lot more elbow grease. So I prefer the Barkeeper's Friend, and it's completely safe to use as long as you protect your hands, make sure that you don't inhale it by mixing it with water so that the particles don't become airborne, and make sure that you don't mix it with any other cleaners. You can even buy it in a liquid form. I just like to use the powder because then I can control the concentration. Once I've created sort of a paste and spread it around on the glass, I will let it sit for about 10 or 15 minutes, and while I'm doing that, I'll start working on the racks. I like using the Dawn Power Wash and one of these stainless steel scrubbers, but first I will spray everything down really well with the Dawn, and again, I'll let that sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. After 10 minutes, it's time to give the glass a light scrub, and this is really easy to do. The Barkeeper's Friend loosens up everything, and I'm just using a natural fiber sponge on the scrubby side to find all of those little brown burnt on bits and remove those. Those stuck-on splatters come off so easily. It really doesn't take much elbow grease at all. And after I've loosened them all up really good, I will go over it with a microfiber cloth just to remove the paste. Once I've gotten most of the paste off, I will rinse my microfiber cloth and then go over it one more time, kind of rinsing it. And that was the hardest part of cleaning the oven. It took less than 5 minutes hands-on cleaning time. And now I'm going to use my self-cleaning cycle. So I just open a window to make sure that I have some good ventilation. And this part takes 4 hours. So while the self-cleaning cycle is running, I'm going to take care of the racks, and they've been soaking in the Dawn Power Wash for a little over 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes by now. And I'm just using one of these stainless steel scrubbers, which does wonders. In fact, I've used it without any cleaner before and it does pretty well, but the Power Wash does help loosen everything up and just make it go a little faster. And so if you don't have a self-cleaning oven, I would recommend using the Barkeeper's Friend all over the inside of the oven that has any splatters. It will work the same way as it did on the glass. It takes only 5 or 10 minutes after you've spread it on, and then you can scrub and wipe it off. It will be a very easy job. If you aren't comfortable using Barkeeper's Friend, then by all means just mix up a paste of baking soda and vinegar similar to the one that I did on the glass and spread that all around the inside of the oven. You'll probably need to wait longer. I would recommend overnight if possible, but at least 3 hours or so to let that really work and loosen everything up. And then you can do the same thing, scrubbing it and then wiping it out with a microfiber cloth. It works great too, it just takes a little longer. When the self-cleaning cycle is finished, make sure that you let the oven cool down completely. So I actually waited until the next morning, and all I had to do was wipe it out with a damp microfiber cloth, and my oven looked just like new. We got this oven back in the spring when we were renovating our kitchen, so it has only been maybe 8 months or so that I've been using it, and this is the first time that I used the self-cleaning cycle, and honestly the fumes really weren't bad at all. With the window open, it wasn't a problem, and so I recommend if you have a self-cleaning cycle, don't be afraid to use it. It's what your oven was intended for, and if you are going to use some kind of commercial cleaner, make sure that it's okay for the surface of your oven if it is a self-cleaning oven. The other trick to having a sparkling clean oven is to clean it a little bit more often. I've been guilty of this in the past because I was dreading doing it and I put it off, but this was not a hard project by any means, and the reward is really good. So it's so nice to have a nice clean oven, and I can't wait to start using it again. Don't forget to put in the non-stick oven liner. This has saved me so many times and is so worth it. You can cut it to the size of your oven so that it fits perfectly, and the one that I have in my Amazon store, and you'll find the link for that down in the description box. Next up is the microwave, and the best tip I can give you is prevention. I keep a box of these wax papers in the drawer right below the microwave so that everyone in the family knows to grab one and cover their food before putting it in the microwave. And I don't have to hardly ever clean my microwave because this prevents all splatters. If you don't like the idea of disposable papers, you can use a plate, or they make some plastic microwave covers that you can also use, and you can wash those out each time. But this just saves so much time and effort on my part, and my family has gotten used to using these. So this is my best advice for keeping your microwave clean. And if you do have to wipe out your microwave and you have a lot of splatters, as you can see, there's like only one splatter that I can see in the microwave, and I honestly haven't cleaned it for a couple of months. I just use a microfiber cloth that's dampened with water to wipe it all out, but if there were a lot of splatters, you might need to loosen those up by boiling a cup of water. Some people like to add a little lemon juice to the water. That freshens everything really nicely. Just make sure that you leave it in there boiling for a minute or so, and that will loosen up all of the stuck-on parts, and you'll be able to use your microfiber cloth to clean it easily. Next up is the refrigerator, and my best piece of advice is to go shelf by shelf, and there's a few reasons for this. It saves energy, so I can unload the top shelf. I always start from the top and work my way down. And once everything is on the counter from the top shelf, I can close the doors, and that will save energy. But probably the best reason is that if you are like me, you may get interrupted in the middle of this process, and it will be very easy for you to stop and pick it up again later than if you had unloaded everything out onto the counter and then you have no choice but to finish the job. I know if I removed everything from my refrigerator and set it on my counter, it would look overwhelming, and if I got interrupted, then I would have to worry about the food sitting out for too long. So once the top shelf is empty, I can use my damp microfiber cloth and the window and polishing cloth to dry it and get those glass shelves and anything that's on the sides of the refrigerator interior clean before putting everything back. And of course, while everything's out on the counter, I double check to make sure that nothing is spoiled or is past the expiration date. And so I would toss anything like that and then put all of the nice fresh items back in the refrigerator, kind of grouping like items together and making sure everything looks nice and tidy. Then I just repeat that with each shelf, and like I said, if I get interrupted or I run out of time, I can just stop right there and pick up the next day or even the next week. I also always try to clean my refrigerator before I go to the grocery store. When the inventory is a little bit low, the job is a lot easier. As you can see, I use microfiber cloths for the bulk of my cleaning, especially in the kitchen. I just find that they are so effective, and I like that I don't have to use a bunch of different cleaners. I only need water, and I can oftentimes just use one to clean the entire kitchen. And so when I feel that it's necessary, I just rinse it and it's ready to go. I am using ones from eCloth, and I have some of my favorite ones again in my Amazon store, so you'll find that link in the description box. To clean the drawers, I normally recommend that you remove it instead of cleaning it like this, but this large one is hard to remove from our new refrigerator. The ones that you see the produce in below come out, and I do take those out to clean them, but again, I'm just using my damp microfiber cloth. There is a window and polishing cloth that I use afterwards to sort of dry it, and then it's ready to be reloaded with all of its contents. Okay, so now you know where I hide the chocolate. Who would have thought the produce drawer, right? And I use a vacuum cleaner if there are little bits in there. This saves so much time when cleaning before I use my microfiber cloths to really give it a good cleaning. You're probably wondering what this little box is that I'm reattaching to the inside of the drawer. This came with our refrigerator and has a little packet inside that helps keep our produce from ripening too quickly. On the doors, I found that I can usually remove the shelves that I have on our refrigerator here without removing the contents. That saves me a little bit of time. I can close the refrigerator doors while I'm working on them, and then I can reload them again on the counter before putting them back in. Every refrigerator manufacturer has sort of a different system, so that might not work for the shelves that you have on your door. Just be really careful and make sure that that's not going to cause a kitchen accident before you try it the way I showed you. As you can see, this top shelf wasn't coming off as easily as the others, and because I have a lot of glass jars on there, I didn't want to take any chances, so I did remove everything from that bin. So just beware and be careful. For the outside of the refrigerator, again, I'm just using a damp microfiber cloth to really clean it, make sure that I remove all of the smears and fingerprints. And then I use a very fine microfiber cloth. Mine is called a window and polishing cloth from eCloth to dry it. And that gives it a really nice streak-free finish. I use that on all of the stainless steel, and I never use any store-bought cleaners for stainless steel. I find that they cause a terrible buildup. So over time, you'll see that there's sort of like a gunky residue in different places. And if that happens, if you've been using it, there is a solution. You can use a little bit of straight ammonia. That is actually totally safe for stainless steel. I have researched it, and I had to do that in our previous home because that was the situation when we moved in. But it will remove that gunky buildup, and if you just use microfiber cloths from there on out, you'll never have that problem again. The last appliance I'm cleaning today is our dishwasher. And you may think, why do you need to clean a dishwasher? Doesn't it clean itself? But actually there's a filter at the bottom usually of most dishwashers that catch any little food particles, and there is oftentimes a yucky buildup in there. And ours also has a removable screen that I can take out and wash as well. So if you have any sort of weird smells coming from your dishwasher, this is probably the source. So if you don't see a filter similar to mine in the bottom of your dishwasher, check your owner's manual because most dishwashers have these, and they do need to be cleaned periodically. All you need is a little bit of dish soap and water, and I like to use a bottle brush like this because it really helps me get into all of the little nooks and crannies. Once they have been washed, you can return them and your dishwasher is really ready to go at this point, but I will take it one more step in case you're interested. And just making sure that your filters are clean will keep your dishwasher running much better and for longer. So if you notice any buildup on the inside of your dishwasher, or you just want to really freshen it up, add a cup or a bowl to the center of your top rack and about a cup of just white vinegar. And then you can run your dishwasher. I like to just select the hour mode, so like short wash or whatever your dishwasher indicates. And I like to do a heat dry, and that will really loosen up any buildup in there and make the interior sparkling clean. When the cycle is complete, just carefully remove the container in the top. It will have hot liquid in it, mostly hot water and not vinegar anymore. And you can just discard that down the drain. That will actually freshen your drain a bit. And then I just use a microfiber cloth to go over the interior, especially if you have a stainless steel interior. It will remove any, sort of smears or buildup that was loosened by that vinegar. Make sure you wipe really well all around the sides and in the gaskets to remove food that has been spilled in there. And your dishwasher will not only look amazing, but it's going to smell really fresh too. It feels really good to have all of the appliances spick and span on the inside, and so I'm going to go around and polish up all of the stainless steel in our kitchen to really make everything sparkle on the outside too. Just like on the refrigerator, I'm using a damp microfiber cloth, and then I dry it really well with a window and polishing cloth, and that's it. Normally when cleaning the hood, I would remove the vent screens and wash those, and the easiest way to do that for me is in the dishwasher because mine are dishwasher safe, but I did that recently, so I'm gonna skip that today. This microfiber cloth was made specifically for the stovetop because it has those scrubby stripes, and I do use it for that purpose, but any sort of just general purpose microfiber cloth usually does the trick. Many of you have asked how I'm enjoying the Induction cooktop, and I love it for a lot of reasons, but one is the ease of cleaning it because the glass never gets that hot, so there are very rarely any sort of baked on bits, and so cleaning it is a breeze. Another reason why I really love using microfiber cloths is because on an appliance like this that has a combination of glass and stainless steel, I can use the same microfiber cloth. I don't have to switch products because what I'm using on the stainless steel smears up the glass, or that the glass cleaner isn't okay for the stainless steel. It's just so simple. Plus, I never have to worry about any toxic fumes from chemicals that I'm using around my family or our pets. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. I hope that you found this video helpful, that you found some tips for getting your kitchen appliances nice and refreshed and your kitchen reset for the new year. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and I want to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already done so. We would really love to have you join us here at Faith and Flour. We have an amazing group of subscribers, and you can meet them down in the comment section. And while you're there, leave me a comment because I love hearing from you. I'll be back here on YouTube next Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time, so join me, and until then, have a wonderful week.